What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Five Tool Productions video podcast. I am Phil. This is Tyler. Hello, Tyler.
He's the host of this thing,
I'm the
folks.
host. So the good thing
is
about
awesome.
doing informal video, which is outside of the norm of what we
This is
do,
100% informal.
is that I actually get to do stuff.
What do you mean actually get to do
Well,
stuff?
you
Usually
know.
I sit in front of the camera and I see everybody running around like crazy.
Yeah, but no, I actually get to, be the dude in front of the lens, and
Yeah.
you let me talk.
You're a
which you
handsome bugger, so you should be.
Wow, thank you. You never let me talk. Anyway.
I never let you
I'm not
talk.
going to be bitter about it, but you never let me talk. The topic today that we're talking about is good content versus lots of content, and kind of what's the difference if there is a difference.
So my thoughts on this. So this kind of stemmed from a conversation. We just came back from Vegas. We were at a show, and we hosted a great show on stage. And one of the people that were up there, he was an awesome guest on the show. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. But he had one question. He ran his own digital agency, and he was talking about a client of his that said he was so happy to hear the client say that they only wanted to put a few good things on the new website,
Right.
as opposed to putting a bunch of garbage.
Yep.
And I kind of take issue with that because, in my opinion, I don't think it's good content versus
Right.
a lot of
Not an
content.
and or-
Or
it's
not,
not an
it's
or
not an and
situation,
or.
right?
It's
Yeah.
both. I mean, my thoughts are on this. Don't put out a little bad stuff. Don't put out a lot of bad stuff.
Don't put out
bad
bad
stuff sucks. Don't do it, right? I mean, it's pretty simple. And the same thing goes for good content. If you have good content, put out good content.
much of it as you can.
As much as you can. Because here's the thing. If good content is doing what it's supposed to, and it really is good content, it's driving leads, which is driving sales, which means you're going to have more money. So you need to then say, okay, let's put this back in the beginning and get more people into it.
So you talk about like bad content and good content. What's an example of something that's bad content, right? Because you talk about volume being really good,
Yeah.
and and in a previous one of these, actually, it's a kind of a similar topic. You talked about staying on message and talking to your audience. So what would be, in your mind, an example of bad content that you want to stay away from?
So bad content, like I'm not talking about the quality of video.
Right.
In other words, like don't look, or quality of video, quality of text. Obviously, if you have a bunch of spelling mistakes in your
Yeah.
text, like get your head examined. Don't do that, right? But that's kind of brash, I know.
Yeah,
But
no.
still, but when you really think about it, bad content to me is afterwards, if you're measuring and you see that clearly people don't like it, just on Instagram, use Instagram as your barometer,
Sure.
right? And you say, okay, people aren't liking this as much. There's not as much engagement. There isn't really good engagement on here. You can take it down. Don't put it up there and keep it up there and say, well, we spent all this money on this. Don't force feed people bad content because they don't want to see it. I mean, like you said, we talked about this before. If it's bad, people kind of see through it. They scroll through it.
They'll let you know.
Yeah, but measure it. Don't use it. But learn from it too, right?
Well, and I think you're right. Metrics really, you shouldn't be necessarily a slave to metrics, but you need to pay attention to them and know that they exist. And at the end of the day, if you keep banging your head against the wall, making things that nobody's engaging with, nobody's paying attention to, no one is clicking through to your site from, all those different metrics you have now. You have engagement metrics, you have conversion metrics. That's the beauty of social and Google Analytics and all the other tools you have in front of you. You can tell really
What
whether or
works,
not
what
people
isn't.
like it. So I might create something that I think people are going to love, but at the end of the day, it doesn't do anything bad, right?
Yeah.
I mean, bottom line.
Well, how many times has this happened to me? I know it's happened to me where I've created something. It's happened on both sides. And this is actually kind of a funny story. So I created a video for the CEO, for the company I was working for at the time. Showed it to the CEO. The CEO kind of looked at me and said, I don't really like this that
Right.
much. I'm just not a fan of it.
It's usually a good indicator that it's probably a
It's
very good
probably
thing.
going to be awesome content, but that's the thing. I kind of explained it and I said, you know what, let's just try it. Let's kind of dip our toes in the water, see and if they don't like it, we'll take it down
Sure.
and don't worry about
No
it.
harm, no foul.
It went crazy.
Right.
I mean, I
Of
posted up that
course,
they liked it,
of
but
course.
here's the thing. You said it in one of our previous videos exactly, that think of the target audience at the end. The CEO might not necessarily be your
That's a
target
great
audience,
point.
right?
Yeah.
So that's the other side of the thing is, you might say something, the CEO and your whole marketing team said, oh, we put so much time and effort into this.
Right.
This was great. I can't believe how great
Right.
this is. And then crickets when it comes out there. Guess what? Pull it back, or you don't even have to just take it down and delete it.
Sure.
You can kind of tweak it a little bit and maybe do some small edits to it or make it a little more fast-paced if it is a video.
Right, and mainly more than anything else, I mean, learn from it. Like you said, you know, even if you don't take it down, sure, you spent money on it, leave it up, as long as it's not getting a negative reaction necessarily. But learn from it. Don't necessarily make the same thing again next week or the week after, or invest a lot of money in that and learn from it. And kind of back to the point of good versus lots. And to your point, they're not mutually exclusive.
Yeah.
You can have lots of good. And volume is so key now. And it's a matter of, you know, there's so much stuff out there, and you always see, you know, those kind of wheels that show however many minutes of YouTube videos being uploaded every minute, and however many Facebook posts.
You know, that's all well and good. I hate those stupid stats more than anything.
But thank you.
Oh my gosh, I hate that. It's like, great, so the little nitwit 13-year-old uploaded 48 hours because he left his phone on and just thought it was funny. You know, it's like,
and you're making a good point, and
another video, future. We'll talk about that.
There's a couple of points I think to take away from it. First of all, don't be intimidated by the amount of stuff that's out there, because the people consuming, you know, Twitch TV watching video games, you know, watching video games get streamed online, probably not necessarily your target audience, unless you're making video games. But the thing to remember is there's a lot of stuff out there, right? There's a lot of stuff out there. Making one video a week, putting up one blog post a week, that's not going to cut through. You need to make enough content to cut through the clutter. And you need to make enough
good content to cut through the clutter.
And I think we're at, like, we've established that, right? It's not mutually exclusive. Good baseline has to be continue to measure, but then the volume has to be there too, right? I mean, like, you have to be consistent to stay top of mind with people.
Well, that's the thing. You can't, as a business, as a marketing company, sit back and say, I created this one video or this one blog post. How great was this? And try to ride the I mean, you could try to ride it out as much as possible. But here's the thing. So, I mean, we talk about this of one piece of content kind of feeds many, right?
Yes.
If you shoot once and use often is one of the things we like to say. And if you do that, you'll actually be able to ride that out a little bit longer. But don't just say, okay, I created this one video and this is awesome, and I'm just going to post this up. I mean, how many times have you logged on to, say, YouTube, and you saw a pre-roll ad, and that pre-roll ad's the same pre-roll ad from the company from 6 years ago, and you say, I've seen this so many times.
Run a different campaign, right?
You're driving me crazy. And
new.
that's just kind of marketing as a whole. You know, change it up a little bit. But you really do have to create good stuff, and a lot of it, right?
Yeah, I mean, and there is something to be said about, you talk about you don't want to have the same thing over and over again, but there is something to be said about consistency in message.
Yeah, definitely. As far as branding is concerned, definitely.
So you talk about making sure that, you know, you don't get tired, but you do kind of continue to hammer your core messages and your core points so that people remember, and they actually, you know, when they see your content, they know it's yours, and they associate you with what you want to be associated with, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, well, Nike, have they strayed away from just do it? No. But they've showed it and told that story in different ways.
And it's evolved, right?
Exactly. It's not the same thing over time.
Right. And I mean, in terms of, you talk about like cell phone video, quality of video and things like that, I think it's really important to remember that the acceptance for different qualities of content, different quality of content, people are way more accepting of stuff that's not feature film quality at this point.
Definitely.
And that doesn't mean, you know, make it trash, but it does mean that if it feels authentic and it feels real, people are going to be okay if it's not 100% perfect. There's a couple of key things to remember: audio, lights, and we can get into some of that stuff in other episodes, kind of how to maximize a small budget.
Definitely.
But people are pretty accepting.
They're accepting. I'll even go so far to say it the other way. So say if you're on Snapchat or Instagram stories, if you see something well produced on Instagram, it actually is a little jarring.
You don't trust it, right?
I say, what is this? It feels like an ad. It feels like someone's selling me. Whereas if I've got DJ Khaled holding up his phone saying, the sun's shining on me, the flowers, I love you. You know, that's expected. This is fun. That's the medium for that.
And by the way, why do you think that Ciroc and all these companies work with people like that to get fed into that, as opposed to creating a high quality ad that's going to go between stories? They instead just give these guys bottles of Ciroc and say, talk about it, because it feels more real, right?
So everybody knows we're accepting bottles of Ciroc.
We'll take it.
I mean, right now we've got our coffee mugs, but we can easily change those to other types.
It feels like, bottom line, and correct me if I'm wrong, we probably could have just done this whole thing and said, lots of good. Like, that's it.
No bad.
No bad.
You know, I think it's pretty simple, and we can leave it at that.
So was this good?
I think that works.
Okay.
That's good.
All right, well, that's it. He's Tyler. I'm Phil. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you all next time.